The Gemara has an interesting question. The Gemara says, what is considered Yisurim? What are considered punishments? How does a person know that something is considered a punishment from Hashem? And the Gemara says if a person needs to find a quarter and he's got change in his pocket, he wants to pay a parking meter. I know I haven't been in America for a while. I don't know how much parking meters cost anymore. In my day, there was 10, 5, and 25. And you know what? I know I may not look so old, not a day over 70. But in those days, when you used a payphone, it was a quarter for a phone call. It's hard to believe. Anyway, he's looking for a quarter. And instead of a quarter, he pulls out a nickel or a dime. Says the Gemara, that's Yisurim. That's a punishment. Because if he wouldn't be punished, if God would give him or make it easy for him to pull out exactly what he needs, that would be considered a gift from Hashem. The point that I'd like to extract from this Gemara, sometimes we don't even realize the gifts that we are receiving from God are in the small things. For example, you want to pull out a quarter, you got change in your pocket, and you pull out a quarter. How often do we take that for granted without realizing, wow, God made that easy for you? How often do we catch a bus at the last second and we're like, I run so fast. It's the shot of steroids that I took this morning. It's that energy bar. It's the milkshake that I had, the nutrients, the cornflakes that made me the champion. No, my friend. God wanted you to catch the bus. And if you miss it, God wanted you to miss it. It's important for us to look at the small things, small miracles that happen in our day-to-day lives and realize sometimes if we are not able to see that they are the absolute hand of Hashem, then if we would look on the opposite side of the spectrum, meaning the withdrawal from them, not getting them, and how difficult that would make things, we would realize, wow, if it's so difficult when I don't have it, and it's so easy and beneficial when I do, then just like when I don't, I would get upset. So when I do have it, I have to be thankful. When you miss a bus by the last second, you are so upset. And this happens to everybody. I shouldn't say the word you. I say it about myself too. You throw your briefcase down. Hashem, God, why'd you make me miss that bus? I was this close. I could have made this shot. I could have made the investment. We are so upset at Hashem. Why, Hashem? But when he does give it to you, like, see ya. What about a thank you? What about recognition? This is from God, just like it was from God when you saw that it didn't come. It's from God when it did. It's an interesting thing. A rabbi told me, a fascinating thought. He said, people spend years praying for something. Years. You pray that your business should be successful. You pray that you should have good children. You pray there are people that never had children and they pray day after day, year after year. Finally, after 17 years, they have a child. How long do they thank God for? A day, two, a whole week. They make a kiddush in shul. They make a celebration. They have a bris, a brit milah, everything. And then, it's normal. The same amount of time you spend praying for something and asking Hashem for it, that's how much you should spend thanking God for it. 17 years. That's right, 17 years. I want to tell you a mashal, a parable. There's a guy, Manhattan, Manhattan, a New Yorker. New York is spelled Newyork, but if you're a New Yorker, you don't pronounce the R. You say New Yorker. So there's a New Yorker, very rich, very wealthy, He has a penthouse in Manhattan, and he's in his office, and he decides to go out for a cigarette break on his porch, on the balcony. And as he does so, the door locks behind him. Door's locked. Now, he finishes his cigarette, tries to open the door, it's locked. Looks inside, secretary's gone. Nobody's left. What's he gonna do? It's starting to get cold again. This is New York. Sometimes it's freezing. Sometimes it's blizzards. It's cold. So he looks down below the balcony and he sees there's a bunch of people walking in the streets. So he starts screaming, "Hey, hello, hello, can you hear me?" Trying to get somebody to come up to his office and open the door for him from inside. He's screaming, "Hello, can you hear me?" This is New York, my friend. Nobody hears nothing. We don't listen to people. We're deaf. Nobody's listening. Well, it's getting cold. It's getting late. He's got to do something. How's he going to get somebody's attention? So, he sees he has his fancy Rolex watch from Switzerland, $20,000. Not the guys on the street that sell it for $15 and they promise you it's real. No, he's got a real one. It's like, I don't have a choice. I'm freezing. I got to get inside. Takes off his watch and he says, I'm going to throw it down on somebody. I'll get his attention. I'll tell him to come up and open the door. So he throws it down and a guy is walking, another typical New Yorker, an Italiano, and he's walking. Guess what? Well, it's my lucky day. A Rolex watch right in front of me. Comes down from heaven. See you later. And he walks off with it. This rich man is like, oh my gosh. So, pulls out of his pocket a wad of bills, hundreds, wraps them up in a rubber band. He says, I'll throw this. And he throws it down. And another typical New Yorker, man, it's my lucky day. A roll of hundreds right in front of me, landing from heaven. And he walks off. Now the guy's like, what am I going to do? I got to get back inside. So he sees a brick on the porch, some small rocks, stones, boulders. He says, all right, that's all I got. And he picks it up and he throws it down. Now a typical New Yorker sees a brick almost hit him on the head, and he looks up and is like, what the? Are you trying to kill me? And of course, the man says, please, I need your help. Come up to the office and help me get in my office. You know what the mashal is? The parable? It's got a very important point. Sometimes Hashem wants us to look at him. He wants us to let him in his house. Open the door for me. I want to go back to my Beis Hamikdash, to my sanctuary in Jerusalem and in the hearts of every man. So he throws money down, and he throws goodness and kindness and everything wonderful and all the blessings, and we take it and we walk off. We don't even look up. And God says, just like the man on the porch, I threw it so you would look up at me. I want you to hear me. I want you to look at me. I want you to hear me calling you. And we ignore it. We take it. It's my lucky day. And we put it away. And then God sometimes takes a rock or a brick and he throws it. That's called punishments. And when we turn and we say, what was that? That's Hashem says, I wanted you to look. I want you to turn to me. I want you to hear me. Because you can let me back in my house. You have the key. I'm locked out. For the past 2,000 years, God has been locked out of his house, out of the Beis Hamikdash, out of the sanctuary in Yerushalayim. And the only one with the key, the only one who can open it up, is me and you. And God sometimes, times are great, all the blessings are pouring down from heaven, everything's bliss, and we ignore it, take it for granted, and we go on. And then sometimes things happen, rocks come pouring down from heaven, tragedies, sorrows, difficult things, mishaps, And it's at that point that we're supposed to turn our eyes heavenward and say, Hashem, I hear you calling. Hashem, I hear your voice. That's what they're there for. They're there to call us, to talk to us, and to help us hear Hashem begging us, please let me back home.